Here's a wild thought. What if the nicest person in your life, the one who always says yes, the one who carries everyone else's burdens, is actually the most dangerous person in the room? No, not dangerous to you. They're dangerous to every system that's built on their compliance. The psychologist Carl Jung had a name for this transformation. He called it individuation. And it's what happens when the professional people-pleaser finally wakes up and realizes the truth about their so-called gift. Think about it. You know that feeling, right? You're drained. Your phone is blowing up with urgencies from 3 different people. You've just agreed to help a coworker on your weekend off. You've absorbed so much stress from others, it feels like static under your skin. But then a quiet question pops into your head. What if I just didn't? That's the click. That's the start. Because here's the aha moment Carl Jung identified. That intense, radar-like empathy probably isn't a magical gift. It's a defense mechanism. It's survival sensitivity. You didn't learn to feel everyone's feelings because you're a saint. You learned it so you could anticipate threats and manage the room to stay safe. It's a trauma response wearing the mask of compassion. When this realization hits, Carl Jung said it's like a collision with the unconscious. It's the shocking discovery that your entire identity as the helpful one is built on a lie. The lie that you are responsible for their feelings. This is where you meet what Carl Jung called the shadow. It's all the parts of you that you've pushed down. And for the chronic people-pleaser, what's in that shadow? It's not evil. It's rage. Pure, unfiltered rage. It's the anger of 1,000 tiny betrayals. It's the fury of every "you're so selfish" comment you got when you once tried to have a need. It's like finding out you're Bruce Banner, and you've been spending your whole life trying to convince everyone you're not the Hulk, when really, that strength was just waiting to be integrated. So what happens when you finally shake hands with that shadow? You don't become cruel. You become clear. The first shift is energy. Instead of your life force flowing out to everyone else, it starts to pool back inside you. Suddenly, you have energy for yourself. And this is where boundaries stop being polite suggestions and start becoming sacred. You start saying no, and here's the key, without a 5-paragraph essay explaining why. Just, no, I can't. That's it. It feels terrifying at first, but then the most shocking thing happens. The guilt just evaporates. You realize that crushing guilt wasn't a sign you were bad. It was the chain others used to keep you in line. When you stop reacting to it, the chain breaks. Next, the mask drops. Carl Jung called this the death of the persona. That nice, agreeable, always smiling mask, it suddenly feels heavy, fake, and impossible to wear. You start choosing authenticity over approval. You stop laughing at jokes that aren't funny. You admit you'd rather stay in than go to a party you dread. This is also when projection recall happens. You stop projecting your own good heart and decency onto everyone else. You stop seeing potential in that friend who keeps letting you down and start seeing the reality of their actions. It's like putting on the glasses from the movie They Live. Suddenly, you can see the manipulation tactics that were invisible before. This all leads to the biggest shift. The healer finally heals themselves. For the first time, you turn all that powerful healing energy inward. Instead of asking, "What does everyone need from me?" you ask, "What do I need?" And finally, you achieve what Carl Jung called conscious connection. This isn't cold detachment, it's boundaried compassion. You can sit with a friend who is suffering, listen deeply, and offer support, but you don't take on their pain. You don't carry it home with you. You can feel for them without feeling as them. Now, Carl Jung was clear, this process isn't easy. He called it the night sea journey. It's a dark, disorienting trip. When you stop being the fixer, you're going to lose people. This is the great relationship purge. Friends who only liked you when you were their free therapist will fade away. Family members might accuse you of changing or being selfish. They're resisting because you just broke an unwritten contract where you did all the work. It's painful, but as Carl Jung said, no tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. But here's the payoff. This is what changes everything. We don't lose your sensitivity, you master it. It transforms from a liability into a superpower. You get what's called conscious sensitivity. Your intuition becomes razor sharp because it's no longer clouded by everyone else's noise. You can walk into a meeting and instantly read the room's dynamics, but you're not overwhelmed by them. You remain centered. You become what Carl Jung called a conscious individual, someone who is both deeply connected to the world but unshakably sovereign in themselves. So, let's be clear. Your sensitivity was never the weakness. Your boundaries aren't selfish, they are self-respect. And your authenticity isn't too much, it's non-negotiable. When an empath stops people-pleasing, they don't become cold, they become sovereign. They don't lose their compassion, they just finally include themselves in it. The world doesn't need any more depleted, burned-out martyrs. It needs conscious, whole individuals. If you feel like this is your story and you're ready to explore what that sovereignty looks like, check out our next video on why the person who needs nothing is the one who changes everything. Thanks for watching.